This is the Pat Mayo Experience presented by Underdog. This is the live chat. Wednesday evening, Farmers Insurance Open, the final bets, updated DraftKings ownership, more strategy, one and dones, plus the return of Patrick Reed in a little bit. But he did leave LIV in all of your questions. So smash the like and fill up that chat. And you can't fill up that chat unless you are subbed to Mayo Media Network. So please go do that right now. Fill in your questions and I'll be back.
Pat Mayo Experience.
The final bets for the Farmers Insurance Open. You can get all of this either on betsportsgolf.com in my free newsletter. It's going to be in another place as of next week, I believe. And I think I put it as an article on X as well. But Cam Young is where I've been going all week. I'm sticking with Cam Young. I even have him boosted up at coolbet.com right now. So if you're in Canada outside of Ontario and you want to get yourself a quick 26-1 on Cam Young, you can get that at coolbet.com because I got that at coolbet.com. I also added JJ Spawn to the card at 28-1. It was also a cool bet number. I was hoping I could find a lingering 30 or 33 that just was not happening because I waited too late in the week to bet it. It came down to me between Goddard, McNeely, Day, and Spawn. I didn't have the most interest in Day, honestly. I know that he's probably the most bet on guy this week, and he seems to be quite popular, but this is like classic Jason Day spot where he just goes full Jason Day and misses the cut. Someone told me he was due for a win. Like, what's he due for? He's had like 3 top 10s in the past year. Yeah, he had a good week at the Amex. Lots of guys had good weeks at the Amex. So maybe he'll be fine. I was thinking about it, but it really just came down to a coin flip for me between Spawn and Goddard. Goddard did just win. I think I prefer the skill set of Goddard for this course. It's the irons that get a bit wonky on him. Whereas JJ Spawn, if he's been playing like JJ Spawn from the past 12 months, he doesn't have the distance and the prodigious length off the tee, but he's going to find a ton of fairways. He plays that left to right cut, and he's just awesome with his irons. And being a California guy, San Diego State, and then looking at his historic POA numbers, very good on California POA. Whereas Cam Young, good on POA, but that's mainly like the Northeast POA. It's California POA, which Keith broke down on the show this morning. JJ Spawn is just very good at putting on it. Ditto for Sam Stevens. Stevens has played the Farmers 3 times in his career. He's never lost off the tee at the South Course, and he's never lost strokes around the green at the South Course in his career. He's been getting better. He had the second place finish a year ago. He had a T13 in his first appearance 3 years ago. Never missed a cut. So I went with Sam Stevens at 45-1. Another one that I missed the early rush on and really missed out on the good numbers. Nikolai Højgaard and Pearson Goody, both 66-1. Obviously talked about these guys all week. Broke it down on Monday with Jeff. The 3 bombs that I played are no different than what I had early in the week. I'm sticking with them. I got Johnny Kiefer, 125-1. Potkeeter, 225-1. I think that got beat down to like 125 or 150, whatever it's at now. And Crazy Carl, Captain Phillips, he's the captain now. 350-1, all 3 of those guys with 8 places. Also, if you hit on the newsletter, and I think I tweeted it out as well, is the top 40 parlay. I hit the round robin. I got 3 of 4 last year with this. And we'll see if we get 3 of 5 this year. It's going to turn out to be pretty good. But in the newsletter right now, it is Celinda, Rosenmuller, Roy, Valimaki, and Ford. Those 5 together, all to come inside the top 40, pay 534-1. But I did play it with a 4-way round robin and a 3-way round robin. Just 3 of these guys should net you somewhere around 70-90-1, depending on which of the guys end up coming in. So if 3 of them hit top 40, it's going to more than pay for it. And then we have the bonus of maybe all 5 of them could actually do it. Brooke Henderson as well. Keith sold me on Brooke Henderson. I ended up going with Brooke Henderson. If we jump over to betsportsgolf.com and take a look at the quick updated ownership for the week, you can find it all if you're a member of Fantasy National or the Rabbit Hole. You can get access to betsportsgolf.com and check out the Optimizer to see what's going on. It has Schauffele way above Ludwig, Cantlay, Cam Young, Day, like a lot of, I don't think it's going to be 30% on Schauffele. That's just not where my mind was going. I just figured everyone would use Ludwig in the spot, but I guess not. The computer is better at doing the ownership projections than I am. So Xander above all. Where's the next little hot spot here? So you got Hideki and Spawn is a hot spot. Goddard is a hot spot. And then you're into like Rasmus Højgaard just below 8,000. Brooks projected at 6%. I'm guessing it's higher than that, but like not much higher. If he gets to 10% in large MMEs, I'm going to be, I don't want to say stunned, but I just don't think, like myself, a lot of people have a ton of faith in Brooks this week. Programming note, by the way, me, Jeff, and Cust have a Winter Olympic show, just stupid preview, coming out tomorrow morning. It's a lot of fun. I have a giant freak out in that episode. I just recorded with Morency the best bets for the Winter Olympics. That comes out on Friday. Research show on Saturday. And then me, Meanie, and Jay Kahn going in depth on the Olympic hockey tournament on Sunday afternoon on the network and on the podcast feed. In case you need some stuff to do over the next 4 days, I got plenty of content before Super Bowl week officially. Super Bowl week and Phoenix week meet in the middle starting on Monday. It's going to be nonstop going through that. If we go down a little bit more, I tried to theorize this in the cheat sheet. I can even, you can go read it, but if you go down to the DraftKings section of the cheat sheet, where are we at here? I kind of theorized on how I think that the most common builds are going to go. Roz and I talked about this a little bit, that you're going to start with, I assumed it would be a 10K guy. I assumed we'd be talking about Ludwig or Cam. Just call it Xander. You have Xander with a like high 9K guy, low 8K guy. So like Spawn and Day. If you have like the one high 9K guy, Spawn or Day with Knapp and Højgaard and Stevens, or a low 9K. So it would be like Xander, Day, Højgaard as a start. Or you would have something like Xander or Ludwig with Goddard and Pendrith in that middle spot. And then you just drop down to this like mid 7s, high 6s range with like Thorbjornsen, Nikolai, all the way down to, it seems like Castillo. I guess we should check out the ownership on who these like low 6K guys are that are really going to pop. Patrick Rogers seems pretty certain to garner. I mean, he's projected for over double-digit ownership right now, but at 11.6, I'm guessing he's going to be a pretty popular click. After that, let's see, like Johnny Kiefer at 7,000, Ricky Castillo, 3%, Ventura. You in there, Ventura? I hear animals in there, Ventura. But yeah, it's not a ton going on with him. Yeah, there's not a lot down in the 6s. I'm guessing it'll coalesce around a few guys. Valimaki, Ventura, Castillo, maybe the Smother Man. He's pretty popular right now. But there's going to be 6K guys in the mix. In the cheat sheet, I actually kind of showed where the guys that I like from the bottom are. If you really want to go, I like the 4-2, the double loser, and then 4 like pretty good players. You can get like 3 8Ks and a 9K and 2 of these guys. Ford, Celinda, Potgieter, Rosenmuller, Stephen Fisk, Kevin Roy, and Carl Phillips. Mix 2 of those guys together and then just spend the rest on your other 4 guys is my preferred method of the week for building your DraftKings lineup. But obviously, I'm way over invested in round 1 showdown versus the actual slate. So that's where I wrote up briefly in the newsletter as well, just expanding a little bit more on my strategy for round 1 and what I'm doing this week. You probably just want to fade me and you'll be good to go. But one of the things that I did mention was to utilize the optimizer to the best of your ability. The way that, because there's only some, because everyone's just stacking the North Course, which they should. I'm telling you, you want to do that. However, there's only so many guys playing the North Course tomorrow at the top end. So if you go to single day showdown, I guess you can start working on round 2 showdown if you really wanted to. But I believe let's see here. I think it's day, might not even be day. Let's see. I did have it over. Let's see. It would be Hideki, Keegan. I think it was day. With some other guys, there's like 8 guys above $8,000 that are all going to populate the top of lineup. So what you can do to make your lineups different, and this is actually how I ended up with the winning lineup last year, was I went down to the salary range and capped my lineup at like $4,700. So it forces you out of the same combo of 3 guys here, not just playing a 3v3 versus the field. Now, there is the risk that one of the really good players this week, or 3 of those guys tomorrow in round 1, just go crazy, and then you're going to need them. So I built like half and half with lineups. Some of them mixed in all of the studs. The other ones I capped at this where it kind of has like 1 stud and then 5 goober type players. It's 1 round. You're looking for like Eagles here and trying to get above the pack. So this will make your lineups inherently different. So if you do have a Rosenmuller or Kevin Roy or whoever it might be, a Celinda, that if you have 3 of those guys in a lineup and they all eagle the 9th hole or something like that, then you're probably one of the few people with those actual combinations that doesn't just have Keegan, Day, and Goddard in their lineups. You can start with Goddard, have the one big one, then go into the 7s and down. And by just simply capping yourself at $47,000 of salary cap, it just ensures you're not going to have all of the top players, thus making your teams a little bit different. Will that work? It's worked for me once, so I'm going back to the well on it. All right, let's see. Decky and the possible withdrawal scares me, but he could make his way up the leaderboard with his awesome short game. Maybe. I don't know what the fuck that means. What do you mean his possible withdraw? Is he supposed? Did I miss news that he's going to withdraw? Because I didn't see that. Now, is it just like in general Hideki withdraws? Then I don't know what you're scared about. Sometimes guys withdraw. Hideki's one of the Ludwig withdraws too. He withdrew last week, but no problems with him. He withdrew at this tournament last year. He got so sick. He tried to finish and did and played poorly. Then he teed it up the following week at Pebble Beach and withdrew in the first round of that tournament. He withdrew last week. So at this rate, Ludwig is more of a chance to withdraw randomly out of nowhere, apparently, than we're seeing with Hideki at the moment. Don't get that. I know it's a long shot, but if you look at Finau's track record here, he has insane top 10 value. Yeah, when he was like good Tony Finau. Now he's shit Tony Finau. Maybe he can find his way back into the top 10. I would like to see, just bear with me here for a second. Let's take a look. Let's take a look at old Tony Finau and see what he's been up to. It's not good, is what I'm going to tell you. And when he was churning out those top 10s, he was a pretty good player. He's not a good player anymore. That is mainly the problem with Tony Finau. He's $7,000. Probably way too much money. It should be like $6,300. Let's see what he's been up to lately. Cut, 64th, 44th, cut, 56th. It's the last time he had a top 10. The Genesis Invitational last year. Now, he was cut at this tournament last year, despite his amazing history, which I was just told about. But the Genesis, he did play this course, and he was T5. So I guess he has it once in a while. I had one top 10 last year. It was at this course in a harder setup. Actually, it was actually in easier conditions, but harder setup at the Genesis Invitational signature event than it was at the Farmers Insurance Open, which he was cut in. So, back when he was good, he actually, T6, T9, T2, T6, T13, T6. He used to be great at this tournament. Shocking that he never won at this tournament. A lot of it had to do with just terrible putting rounds. He's lost each of the past 4 years on the greens on the South course because there is no shot length data coming from the North course, which kind of tracks with what he's been up to recently. Dude can't putt in general, and the rest of his game isn't around. Struck it pretty well at the Stadium course. To see these numbers where he gained 2.2 strokes tee to green at the Stadium course and still got cut is kind of shocking. That, it's good to see that he hit his approach as well. Fantastic. It's a wedge fest. This is not a wedge fest. So yeah, no thanks for me on old Tony Finau. You want to go with him? You'll be on an island by yourself. And if your hunch is correct, you can stand to win a lot of money. Just not for me. I have 4 $10 bonus bets I'm going to put on a made cut parlay. Who are some good value plays? The 5 guys that I mentioned actually would be the spot that I would go if you can get those guys to make the cut, if they're listed on whatever it might be. So that was Celinda, Rosenmuller, Roy, Valimaki, and Ford. That might be too aggressive, but that will pay you out. Now, they're top 40s. They all have to make the cut in order for this top 40 to pay. That's what I say, 534 to 1. I don't know what that would be for a made cut parlay. I'm guessing somewhere like 25 to 1, something like that. If those names are actually a few of the ones that populate into the system, that's where I would go. Do you think Gerard continues playing well with the top 10 at Torrey? Maybe. Sure. Why not? Let's go with that. These are not good questions. If I thought he was going to finish, if I thought he was a fucking lock for the top 10, I would have bet on him top 10. Or if I knew he was going to be in the top 10, I probably would have bet on him to win because he's inside the top 10. You got to be inside the top 10 in order to win. I didn't, so obviously I don't love him that much. I think he's fine play. Probably comes second, but I'm not wagering on that. With the combo BetSperts, does the subscription still include the Fantasy National app? Having been able to get it to work, it's still under construction. They're redoing everything at Fantasy National right now. They're working hard to get the custom lineup generator, which I love. Everyone loves. I was yelling at them today. It's like, I want to build my lineups, and I want to build it with this. I am learning how to use the optimizer a little bit better, which is good, but I love that Fantasy National lineup builder. So they're going to have that. They tell me for next week. We'll see. And then the app is on the docket after that. But yes, it should be making its return. When, I don't know, is the least of their priorities. The priority now is making sure that everyone has access to both sites. And if it didn't work for you, I think there's like 10% of people it hasn't been working for. Support@fantasynational.com. You should have got the email with the login. If you didn't, email support@fantasynational.com and you'll get your login to the rabbit hole so you can use all of the tools, which includes the optimizer, the simulator, and all of the random stuff that you can get. I wouldn't use Valimaki in a cut line parlay. That's great. You don't have to. Fuck off. Thanks for the chat, Pat. Wheels up. What's going on? For Showdown, do you just play everyone from the North Course or do you prefer to mix? No, I just only play guys from the North Course. There are guys from the South Course that are going to do well. Like last year, it was Danny Walker, who was the best guy at the South Course on day one. You know who no one knew name that they knew in round one of the Farmers last year? Danny Walker. Trying to pinpoint the guy that's going to do well at the South Course, I think is just a fool's errand. And you don't get the same upside that you're going to get and potentially generate from the North Course. So just fuck it. 6-0, all North. And when I lose tomorrow, I'm going to fire back again on Friday with all guys at the North Course. I will try to check the weather beforehand, like I did not do last year when the wind got out of control. Valimaki 150 to 1 is a joke. He just won a tourney. I bet on Valimaki to win this tournament last year at 1,250 to 1. I think he ended up coming like 15th. So that was good. He didn't pay his top 8, but he was a part of that top 40 parlay. Valimaki's pretty good. Thanks for the chat, Pat. Appreciate all the content this week. Tell Jeff to unblock me. I'm not telling. Listen, whatever Jeff does on Twitter, that's his own deal. I do not get involved with whatever Jeff gets up to on social media. Goddard or Pendrith in the one and done. I prefer Goddard. There might be other spots you can use him. This would be a good spot to use Pendrith. I would take Goddard. What does the ownership percentage look like in the 8K range? You can go over to betsportsgolf.com, log into the rabbit hole, and see it all for yourself. How do you feel about Ventura? He swings it pretty hard. If I recall, he did well here last year. He was inside the top 10. I really don't have a beat on what old Kristoff has been up to, but he rates out well. I'm using him as a part of my showdown builds when the time comes to deploy him. He's a big dude. He drives it well off the tee. How has he been doing? Off the tee, he's been doing pretty well. So that's good news if you like Christoph Ventura. What else is he doing? Let's see. Off the tee, positive. He missed the cut last week. I don't really care about that. Beforehand, he had come inside the top 35, 5 consecutive events in the swing season, gained off the tee in all of those. I'm trying to look at some of the other big driver-heavy courses that he would have played in. So he missed the cut in Canada. That was a big driver-heavy course. The ISCO, I don't think that one is. I think they changed courses. 3M is one. He missed the cut there. Valero, Corrales, and Puerto Rico would be places. Mexico is another place I'd be taking a look at. Detroit would be on that list along with Houston as well. So he missed the cut in a lot of those events. How did he get his T4 last year? Well, funny you should ask. Despite the fact that he's a fantastic driver, he lost strokes last year in his T4 because he gained 3 strokes putting and 3.3 strokes around the green. When you take a look at all of the events that surround that in general, that is not something he does. He very rarely does gain around the greens. We can see just overall, last 8 rounds a little bit better, but historically bad around the greens. And he's like an okay putter, but gaining 3.5 in the course of a tournament. So 6.5 strokes gained through your short game is not, it could be repeatable, I suppose, but I don't think that's something that I would want to bank on for predictability. That seems more like an outlier than anything else. You have to remember as well that the conditions are much different this year than they were last year. There's a reason that Harris English won at -8, and the line for this year's tournament, I believe, is set at 13.5, and I would go under. So I think the winning score will be like 16, 17, whatever it might be. Guys got kind of wiped out on the North Course last year in the second round because of all that win. I think it was the first time in 14 years that the North Course, or since the renovations 10 years ago, that the North Course on any day played more difficult than the South Course. So just a weird outlier year. That seemed like a real outlier performance from old Kristoff for us. What do you think of Alex Smalley? I like Alex Smalley. He's in my build. Maybe I'm buying too much into fall results, but does he go good now? Anything about him appealing? He drives the ball huge. He putts really well. I like him at the North Course. Do not like him at the South Course. He goes fine. I think he's overvalued. I think he's overpriced this week. I think his odds are a bit too short. I like him at easier tracks. Maybe he'll end up proving me wrong, but Garrick-Higo in a birdie fest is where I like to play Garrick-Higo. Not so much when, if you hit the ball into the rough, all of a sudden you can't just hit wedges into every pin, which is something that he very much enjoys to do. My gosh, you are un clown. Un clown is Francais for clown. Nah, this guy's just a piece of shit. Get out of my chat. Banned for life. Fuck off. Don't ask Goober questions, you Goober. See, David gets it. Goober questions. Get them out of my chat. I have Cam Young in one and done. Is there any compelling reason to save him for later? Well, I think Jeff has bet him to win all 4 majors, so you can just play him in a major and win more money. I do think down the line that there could be a better shot, but I'm not certain on that. In this field, like I would want to save Xander. I'd probably maybe save Ludwig. I mean, this is a very good spot to use Ludwig as well. I don't know what like course in general or what signature event you'd really want to deploy him. Maybe Bay Hill, but there's other really good options for Bay Hill. Maybe Riviera. Cam Young at Riviera could be a very good look as well. He was T2 in his debut there a few years ago. I believe that was who won that year. Neiman won that year when, yeah, that's right. Neiman ended up winning. And Hovland was making a run as well. And I think it was the 16th hole or the 15th hole. And they had there was a scoreboard on the right-hand side of the fairway. Maybe it was 17. And he just played it down the other fairway because it was just an easier approach shot. And I think they put something there that you can't do that anymore. Just that pops out in my mind from that year where Cam Young was making a run. When are you injecting major best ball content into my veins? I'm not doing any major fucking best ball shit until like March. I got shit to do here. Super Bowl is next week. I'm already doing 4 golf shows a week. I'm doing 5 football shows a week. Once we calm down a little bit, I can take a bit of a break here. Then maybe I'll start thinking about major best ball season. If you do, listen, if you're that concerned about major best ball season right now, go to Underdog, use code Mayo, get your deposit bonus, and start drafting right now. If you're just even looking for content, you're so far ahead of the game, you're going to be able to identify where those early ADP outliers are. I think Sky has stuff over at ETR up on it already. So listen, Sky knows more than I do, especially when trying to disseminate the rules and try to break down where early ADP lies. I trust Sky on that, especially if he has content out already. But my mind is not there to think about majors yet. I'm still in the week-to-week type process right now. How many lineups are you throwing into Thursday showdown? I think I have 75 in, was the number I ended up with. It could be like 73 for all I know. I built 3 sets of lineups and then I hand built one to put into a single entry and then threw it back in the $20 as well. So I think it's like 74, 75, somewhere around that range. Have you ever played Torrey or Pebble Beach? I have not. Sorry, just joined. Jason Day, play for the win off a strong outing. Yeah. It's the fucking first thing I get that you're late. First fucking thing I said. No. Fuck off with Jason Day. Is a bad one and done to use Day across 3 entries. I mean, I don't think he's going to win, so sure. Listen, if he comes 4th, you're going to be doing really well. I guess the move would have been to use him last week. A lot of people are using Day. He might be the most owned one and done guy this week, so keep that in mind. Thoughts on Smotherman? Don't have a whole lot of thoughts on Smotherman. I think that if Smotherman's name was Dave Johnson, that no one would consider using this guy. But that's where I'm at. Maybe you like Smotherman. Only 2 players to save in one and done, in my opinion, are Ludwig and Xander. Everyone else is open to burn. Yeah, I think that's a pretty good strategy to have. I think that there are other Cam Young courses, but I did bet him to win this week. So, hell, I can roll with him. I'm rolling with Mad McNeely just because I don't think a lot of people are using him. But I'm going to wake up tomorrow and really think about that because I don't love Mad McNeely. I like him a bit more here. I might switch that to Spawn. Could be someone else. But I do want to take someone who's in the top 10 of odds right now and try to figure that out. So that's what we're doing here on the show. If anyone else has questions, dump them in now, or we can wrap this up for a Wednesday evening, a very short show. Because I think the first one was like an hour and a half long. Don't want to be here an hour and a half answering goober questions. Good questions I can do. Goober questions, fuck right off with that shit. Hey, Pat, any thoughts on Billy Ho and Denny this week? Not a ton. I'd probably prefer Billy Ho over Denny. Just not a big Denny guy at all. Like when he plays his best, he still doesn't win. So when he doesn't play his best, he's going to miss the cut. At least Billy seems to be working his way back into form. And I've seen him compete at this tournament before, and he put on a decent approach play. And I know that his upside is higher than Denny McCarthy's is the easier way to go about it, that he can tackle these longer, harder courses where Denny has popped up from time to time. But if he's not putting the lights out, like it's almost like the Harry Hall effect. When he doesn't gain 8 strokes putting, what does he do? Nothing. And Denny in a field like this, just absolutely not for me. Is the old Fantasy National going to be available when they're done working on the site? Yeah, I just said that. I said it should be ready for next week. Already said that. What's the favorite course you have played to travel to? I played Pinehurst last year. I actually like Pinehurst 10 way better than number 2. I thought 10 was awesome. The Cabot courses by me are awesome. The Cliffs course is more of a gimmicky course, but the links course is like a real links course. And, on the ocean, I usually play it at the end of May every year. It's like 3 degrees Celsius and there's like 40-mile-per-hour winds. It's a real test. If you could play it in pristine conditions, it would be absolutely amazing. But part of the difficulty is how windy and cold it is all the time. I'm going to play Wolf Creek and Black Desert this year. So maybe those can make a jump up. Played Hazeltine. Didn't love Hazeltine. It's just really hard. It's far too hard. Not for me. You need to be pretty good in order to tackle that course, and I am just not good enough to. Maybe now that I'm better, I could do that, but probably not. And just I want to have a bit of fun when I'm out on the course, not have like staunchy guy around me like, oh, you can't use your sunscreen in that spot. You need to go to the designated sunscreen area. It's like, fuck off, man. It's hot. Just reapplying. Cut me some slack here. It's not the most fun place to go. People take themselves very seriously. I enjoy more of a relaxed atmosphere. That's what I actually enjoyed about Pinehurst. You'd think Pinehurst would be super stuffy. It wasn't at all. And I very much enjoyed that. How great is Sam Stevens for one and done? I don't think that's a bad play. Like, where else are you going to use Sam Stevens? Maybe Houston, but you might get Rory and Scotty in that field and Minwoo defending. And no, it's a good spot for Sam Stevens. The thing is, you don't have to use Sam Stevens in one and done at the same time. Is he going to be one of the 31 players you choose to use this year? Maybe not. How serious a concern is PXG club change for Penge? I don't know. I'm not a manufacturer. Fuck do I know? I use PXGs. I play better with PXGs. Sponsored the show. They gave me clubs. Now I play better golf. Maybe Penge will be the same way. I would be more worried that he just missed a month with a mystery illness that no one has really talked about. And now he's just back. Sure, why not? Should I be worried to use Rico Hoey with his WD last week for illness? Did he WD? I thought he was WD because he played shitty. He's been awful through 2 weeks. I'm not going back there, but if you want to go with Rico, okay, go nuts. I mean, he should be pretty good at this course, but like his stats for 2 weeks are just absolutely abysmal. Maybe it was if it caused him withdrawal last week and he was like plus 11 through 2 rounds, that maybe that is somewhat an explanation of what happened to him last week. But nah, I can't do that. I'm not going to Rico here. Thoughts on Akshay? Seems to be undervalued, but played pretty well last year. I like Akshay. I think that you can mix him in, like instead of using Patrick Rogers, you can use Akshay down in that spot if you wanted to. I think that's a really nice pivot. Smalley's another one who someone mentioned that I do like down in that range as well. Tom Hoagie, top 40. Not for me. Big pass on that. Well, should I save Gotterup or should I dump Day for him? I mean, you do what you want to do in one and done. If you want to use Day, use Day. If he wins, like you're going to be in fantastic shape. It's just not for me. I'm not using Jason Day. Should I be worried? Enrico Hoey, Sam Stevens. I haven't heard Tim on any of the golf shows this season. Will he BBS? I don't know what the fuck BBS. Tim isn't on the golf show. Tim's never been on the golf show. It's been 13 years and Tim has never been on the golf show. He joins us for 10 minutes at major championships to make 3 picks, and then you don't hear from him until another major championship. So no, he is not going to be on the golf show. He is on the football show. Predicted finishing position for total driving monster David Ford as a member of my player pool. I'm hoping it's like T9. That would be very nice for David. I think David Ford is a real player. Obviously, he won PGA Tour U, so obviously he is good. But he's sort of like, I think Jackson Coyvin's better. But for the accuracy, like he doesn't have like plus distance, but it's good distance. And he hits every single fairway that I could see him winning at some point this year. Even if you want to bet him this week, I think he's like 250 to 1. Don't hate that. But I think this first time at like a really big boy course as a member of the PGA Tour, we'll see. Maybe one of the lesser events, easier course, a Valero, a Houston, Valspar, Cognizant. Those might be the places you want to look for David Ford this week. What's your handicap? I am a 7.1 right now. I had it down to like a 6.1 earlier this year, then had some bad rounds. Played the Cradle last year. Place felt like your local muni. Couldn't believe it. I hated the Cradle. The Cradle was my least favorite part of Pinehurst. And just the entire group, go play the Cradle. I was like, this is fucking stupid. I hate that. I'd rather be taking a nap right now in between rounds or going to get lunch than playing this piece of shit. It was the worst part of Pinehurst. Can we get Judge Cuss on the major shows this year? I just said that Cuss to be on. Listen, we're going to do like standalone Judge Cuss segments. We do Cuss Corners. We still do our NFL shows throughout the course of the year, be it free agency, the draft, whatever it might be, any big news. And we'll mix in some Cuss Corners and Judge Cuss. There's 3 new Judge Cuss coming out tomorrow on the Winter Olympics show. So if you're missing Judge Cuss, plenty of time. And if you got any Judge Cuss stuff, mayomediainc@gmail.com. Send in your case for the judge. Damn, 7.1. Awesome. PME can send it. Yeah. Doing much better now. Getting a coach really did help. Although we're now completely retinkering my swing to create more lag and actually get me more distance with my driver because I don't really bomb it. I hit it like 245 off the tee. I'd like to hit it 265, 270 off the tee. I'm not talking about carry. I'm talking about like even after rollout. If I really get into it, I can hit it like 270, but that's like once every 30 drives. I'm actually hitting it like 230 in the air and it's rolling out a bit. But I would just like to have more control with my driver. Like the control that I have with 6-iron and in and around the green and putting, I would like to have with my longer irons, hybrids, woods, and driver. Because once those things start going really well for me, I can really score. It's just I lose like 1.5 balls off the tee every single round. It just tanks me. And then I have to go pin seeking to go try to catch up. And that can lead to some really bad rounds. But the days that I do drive it well, I tend to score really, really well. The best round I played was actually this year. I made 17 pars and a quad for a 76. It was disheartening, to say the least. I've never hit the ball better in my life. I made the conscious decision to take driver off. I hit hybrid off the tee, out of bounds right, re-tee, out of bounds left, re-tee. Hybrid dead center, hit it to 2 feet, tapped it in for an 8. That was also a birdie playing 5 off the tee. So that absolutely sucked. Best part of my game, irons. Wedges through 7-iron. I don't flight the ball very high, so courses with elevated greens can give me some problems because I hit a lot of like, not like low bullets, but like lower type force through the wind shots because where I play is incredibly windy. You don't want to hit the ball super high. It's not that you get a ton of rollouts, just you can pierce it through the wind to get your distances down. But anything 6-iron and in, I'm pretty legit at. So get me from like 190 and in, and I'm good to go. Other than that, like my around the green game is quite good as well, but just when the driver's not working, it can get bad. I'm really bad with my long irons. Like 4-iron, I just can't hit it. And I can hit a hybrid once every 5 times and absolutely crush it. Most of the time I top it and it sucks. I'm just looking at the ball in front of me. Can we ever see a Tim, Jeff, and Kenny on a camping trip? Probably not. I mean, we can joke about that stuff, but no is the answer. That's not going to happen. Can't believe Ben Griffin let me down. Shocker. Ben Griffin let you down. Happens. Thoughts on Pendrith for one and done? He's cuss pick for one and done, so boom, have at it. He sounds like the Pearson Cootie guy morphed into a guy. Yes, the sunscreen guy. That's basically what the club was. It was a bunch of my Pearson Cootie impression people just walking around the course and just like so fucking serious. And I know that's the case at some country clubs. I've never been a part of a golf course or country club that like has standards like that. Even because I'm my golf course is just a golf course and it's pretty casual. You have like your occasional old guy that's like real stodgy, but everyone else is just kind of having a good time going on their way. They want to play fast rounds, get in and out. I'm also a member of an aquatics club in town with my family, which you'd think would be like super like old timey. And there are a few like 80-year-olds there like, oh, you got to take off your hat when you walk in here. It happened last year. It's funny because it wasn't me who said it. It does sound like something I would say to someone who would tell me that, but there's no rule against having a hat on in like the clubhouse, like main eating area. But this old guy told like a guy with like 4 kids coming in. He was trying to wrangle them to go get them. He had a hat on. He's like, you can't wear your hat in here. The guy just looked at me and goes, fuck off, old man. And just kept wrangling his kids. Just me in the corner being like, that's my guy right there. Just no need for it. Just go about your business and don't worry about what anyone else is doing. What else do we got here? Any pressure on you to fill week-long underdog tournaments? No, not really. Are they having problems filling? I thought it was full already. I suppose I can log in and see if that's happening. But no, it's pressure on me to fill the one and done. The underdog tournament's just something new. I thought people would like it. I like the idea of tournament long drafts versus the single day drafts. So I made a big push for that and I worked with the team. Shout out Shane, who was very helpful in doing that. Let's see if that is up. I got ad blocker on. That's no good. Let's see. The PME Open is full. Yeah, perfect. So that's good news. And other people are just discovering as well. This is a brand new product this year. And I think that, I mean, the week-to-week drafts, they work in football. I mean, I don't play them on MLB and I don't play them on basketball or anything like that. So I'm just kind of getting into the golf ones myself because I hated the single day so much. It really turned me off to the product. I've been liking these. I have to get better and learn how to set my rankings and then adjust everything on desktop so I don't draft too much of one person because my rankings are a certain way. So I need to figure that part out a little bit more because I just don't have the time to sit there and do even 5 drafts for mine. Like I can do one, we do one on the show. I try to hop in and out and do them manually, but it's just so much easier to set rankings that you want to have, put in rules for who you can draft, and then just enter the contest and let them draft themselves because it's your input that is going against it. I do think that the teams that you draft by hand are just inherently going to be more logical and better than the auto draft ones. But who's got time to sit there and draft 150 teams? No one does. Even if they are like, it's not so much the draft takes a ton of time. It's more the waiting for people to get into the room to do the draft that takes the time. If it was just instantly drafting, I'd be firing all day. Let's hear the Ryder Cup team for 2027. I honestly do not care about that right now. I mean, the President's Cup is already here. That's this year. Is Xander a wasted one and done or a low-owned favorite? I mean, if you don't want to use him anywhere else, sure. It wouldn't be for me. I feel like you'd be wasting Xander, even if he won. It'd be like if you used Scheffler last week and he won. That's still probably a waste of Scotty Scheffler, considering if he wins in 2 weeks' time at Pebble Beach, he won $4 million more than he would have won next week. Or if he wins at Bay Hill, it's $4 million more that he gets for first place. What's your favorite tournament to watch? The Heritage. Love the Heritage. I do like this one too, though. I really like Torrey Pines. I just find it feels like real golf is back again. And it's really nice that it's during the bye week. You can really, because I mean, just look at Jeff when I talk about the recap shows. He may have watched like 3 seconds of golf so far this season. So good on him for faking it all the way through it and trying to catch up and watching highlights of everything. But to sit down, just enjoy yourself, kick back on like a Thursday afternoon if you're at work, put it on like your second monitor, and ESPN's going to have full coverage too. So it's going to go full coverage in the morning into full coverage on the Golf Channel. So we're going to get to see a ton of golf this week. No football on. It's relaxing. It looks like it's going to be super nice out. And it's a course that has some teeth. It's just not guys going to be making birdie, eagle, birdie. And if someone makes a bogey, you're like, how the hell did that happen? That seems odd. But no, this is going to be a real test. It'll be nice to kind of settle in and get back into golf season. First to win a PGA event, Brooks or Reed, or never again? Probably Brooks. I mean, Brooks is playing 15 times this year, and he's playing Goober events, and Reed isn't allowed to rejoin until August. I'm so happy Patrick Reed is coming back. I think that they should bend whatever rules that they have and just let him back right now. And I've seen a lot of there's a lot of posturing here. Like, I don't hate LIV like a lot of people seem to hate LIV. It's whatever to me. I'm mad that it took away some of my favorite players, Patrick Reed being there. Whether you like Patrick Reed or hate Patrick Reed, he's awesome to have in tournaments to root for or to root against every 4 weeks. Like, that is a lot of fun. He's a character that the PGA needs. That's why I would like to see him back right away, almost like they did with Brooks. It's not like he's not a major champion. He's only a 1-time major champion, not a 5-time major champion. But if Brooks doesn't win this season, I got cognizant in a few weeks. It's actually a really nice spot for him. Hometown event. I once bet on him and Ricky in the same year, and they both lost to Keith Mitchell after Keith Mitchell made a 17-foot putt on the 72nd hole to win that tournament. I don't think Keith Mitchell's made a putt since. But no, he did it that week when I had both guys in second place. Love a good second place finish. If you want my guys, go take my betting card, bet them all to come in second place, and you will be fine. Hit my first one of the year last week with Matt McCarty, second place. Although that one wasn't really competitive. That was like a backdoor second place, not really a challenging to win second place. But Reed will end up playing Valspar and Wyndham and all these places, and he'll pick up a win somewhere along the line. But the posturing, it's like, oh, what a great day for the PGA Tour. It's like, these are the same people that were saying fuck Patrick Reed 3 years ago. And even when he was on tour before, LIV, like, oh, fuck this guy. He's a cheater. Kick him off the tour. It's the same people now so happy to have Patrick Reed back. If you're going to listen, have your takes, but at least be somewhat consistent with them. Jeff and I have always been big Patrick Reed guys. We were bummed that he was going away, and he was still fun to watch in majors. He adds a fun element to golf to me where, is he cheating? He's a bad guy. He's a villain. I think he's really good. He's a very good player. And that's the part that gets lost with Patrick Reed is how good he actually is. And I respect the grind. Dude's playing not only LIV, DP, Asia. He's going to play like a full Asian Tour, DP World Tour schedule now. I'm shocked he's not in Bahrain this week or however the hell Sky said it on the DP World Tour picks and bet show. I was editing. He said the Bahrain Open. It wasn't even that close to Bahrain. He's but making it rain out here. He wasn't doing that. I don't know how the hell he pronounced it. It's hilarious. I'd still take his picks though. I don't know who he picked this week. I have to go look at his card after this and get some bets in. Oh, I also bet on, I think it was like Alistair Daughtry or something like that, the Panama Championship on Corn Ferry Tour. That's another guy you get. I got restricted from DraftKings for no reason, and that was the main place I did golf betting. Cool story, bro. First, ask Feinberg. Feinberg's limited there too. He can't bet on DraftKings. First, I already did that one. Ask for more 3 to 5 max. Don't know what you're talking about. Love Torrey, nothing better than a pawn on 18, absolutely crushing the hopes and dreams. Sorry, Kyle Stanley. Kyle Stanley won the next week in Phoenix, so all was good. That is the year Spencer Levine got all the cactus stuck in his ass and smoked an entire pack of cigarettes on the back nine. What a year! 2012? 11, maybe? Because Snedeker was the benefactor. Whatever the first year Snedeker won at Torrey Pines was the implosion of Kyle Stanley, sucking the ball back into the water with those wedges. My school got off the rest of the week from snow. Where are you at? You can bundle up and watch Farmers on the couch. That's pretty good. The entire week? Oh, is it a place that doesn't get much snow all that often? Because like we're back and rolling here. We got dumped like almost 2 feet of snow. Like everything's fine. Would you guys ever do the Internet Golf Invitational style tournament using guys from only the PME network? We are trying to work out some sort of YouTube golf type premise for this year. I have a bit of a budget to do it, so we might fly Jeff in, we might fly Kenny in. Byron's too good, so we can fuck right off. Like he was a college golfer, so Byron like kick all of our asses. But try to get like me and Cust out. I mean, I've worked it out with my course that we can go out and film it. The hardest part is actually figuring out how to film it. What gear do we need? How can we make sure it works? We don't have like a ton of budget and a ton of time to test all this stuff out. So hopefully we can get a me and Cust scramble against like 2 other people from the area. Maybe we can try to tackle some different courses over the time. So hopefully we can get that off the ground. That's the plan for this summer, at least. Reed versus Homa total winnings this season. Well, Reed's not playing this season. So Homa. Reed's not, I guess, unless it's just majors, but that's all he gets to play in. Here's a good DGen note on Patrick Reed. Used to be fat and hated. Now he's only heavy and disliked. That's not bad. I like that. But everyone's going to hate his guts when he starts playing again full time. What a hero Patrick Reed is. Just like, there's nothing wrong with LIV. Like, LIV kind of sucks. It's like not super entertaining to watch, but as a concept, listen, we're getting better PGA content now and better PGA tournaments because LIV existed. Everything that Phil said was right at the beginning. He was just an asshole about it, so no one liked him. And no one liked having their guys taken away. Me included. I didn't like it. But I think that what we see from the new PGA, getting a lot of the top end guys together more often, and then you have, I think it's actually enhanced the majors with LIV too. Like not having Brooks and Bryson and DJ, well, not so much DJ, Phil, Reed, Cam Smith, whoever it might be, Neiman, that you don't get to see these guys ever. And then you get a reminder that they're in the majors. It makes the majors feel more special at that same time. Like there is a bit of a head-to-head going on there. Like if they didn't leave, it would just be like Neiman would have the place of Sam Stevens in the signature events, and you just see the same thing over and over. And that's sort of the monotony of LIV too. It's the same field every single week. Like and maybe I'm the weirdo with this, that I like a field like this where we got, 3 or 4 big names. We got like the whole mid card of dudes and then like random dudes. And this is a fun course for random dudes because if you can bomb it, you could potentially take advantage. Is Cantlay our biggest bad guy on tour? I don't know who really is the biggest villain. That's the thing. They took all the villains. Like there's some people who didn't like DJ. There's some people who didn't like Brooks. Bryson's a villain. He was a villain. Patrick Reed's a villain. Poulter's a villain. Like even Westwood, kind of a villain. If you ask a lot of American golf watchers, Rory is the biggest villain going. The rest of the world doesn't see it that way, but I have noticed that a lot of people really don't like Rory, but the rest of the world really loves Rory. So it's kind of a give and take. If you had a time machine and knew before the Amex that Scotty would win, would you have picked him in one and done? No. Straight up, no, I wouldn't have. I would have picked Matt McCarty because he came in second. That would be a good use of Matt McCarty. I have Stevens, Goddard, Cam Young, and Jake Knapp starting with Spawn and Højgaard on my bench. I don't know. What do you mean bench? What are we talking about here? Any additions or substitutions? No. I would play Spawn over Knapp if that's what you're asking, but that's me. I don't know what this means. How much money are you betting on this is what I need to know. And like, is this like odds based? Is it salary cap based? RIP Byron, give him a handicap to play with. Nah, if we're playing a scramble. That's what I don't want to. I don't want to get into like handicap stuff. We'll try to mix and match the teams that it's somewhat even and we'll play on from there. Yeah, Cantlay's not really a villain. Delaware, caddy at Wilmington Country Club, famous host. Oh, okay. It's the guy who's, when I seen the stuff out of order, I don't really remember what you were referencing before. is a tough one. All right. Is that going to do it for us? Yeah, I think that's what we're going to do this week. Yeah, we got 45 minutes in. Thank you for coming to the chat. Smash the like while you're here. Oh, I am doing a cash giveaway for next week. But if you do want to get in, even if you've done it before, this bumps your name back up at the top of the list. But sub to Mayo Media Network. That's step one. But thanks for being here. The other ones would be subscribe, rate, and review 5 stars on Apple and on Spotify to the Pat Mayo Experience podcast. And you'll get yourself multiple ballots in the cash giveaway draw, which I think we're doing the day after the Super Bowl. So you'll have the next 10 days to do that. So please do that for the audio podcast. Would highly recommend it. Good luck to everyone this week. Locke, you still got time to tinker tomorrow morning. That's all going to be there. Let's see. Byron and Cuss, you, Jeff, Kenny and a stripper versus DB and Pat from the Tour Junkies. Yeah, it's probably not going to happen. I'll tell you that right now. But yeah, we got time to tinker in the morning. The newsletter's out. If anything changes, I will dump. Like if there's a withdrawal, I'll send it out in the newsletter. If you don't see it, you can always follow me on Twitter and I will tweet that out as well. But I want to make sure that no one misses. Don't forget to put in your one and done picks, by the way, because 6 people missed in the first week, which is just wild stuff. I see a Illini fan has the Ship It Nation thing. So maybe Tambo's not much of a golfer, but maybe we'll get him out. We'll get like me and Cuss versus Tambo, and he can like pick a partner to come play with him. We can do like a Ship It Nation crossover with us as well. That would be pretty fun. I think Tambo is going to be back on the show in a few weeks' time, like after Super Bowl. Just he's bogged down with all football and golf stuff on his own. So we're going to make it work once football is over and we can just ease back into doing a regular show, which I know that people have been missing, but I've been having fun yucking it up with Raza every single week. I love talking to Raza, and we're still doing that show at 1 p.m. live on Tuesdays. I might actually stop doing that live. I think that doing it live is actually hurting the overall numbers for that show because it's not processing in time at all. Like I tried to access it on my app and I couldn't get it to load because it wasn't processed yet. If I just film it and put it out at exactly the same time, it would have been live anyway. No one will have any problems accessing it from mobile, which is where the majority of people watch from anyway. So, this one's going to be live, but it's on Wednesday night. And for whatever reason, nighttime tends to process the YouTube videos faster than in the afternoon. I've sent emails about this. I have no idea why that's the case, but maybe that's something we'll do. We'll film it at noon and just release it at 1, and then no one's the wiser. It's not like we do a ton of like Q&A on that show anyway, so there's no real reason for it to be live because it's not an interactive show. But that's where I'm at. When's the Lowell's crossover with Brick and Overzet? I haven't been on Lowell's in a while, actually. Davis just brought back the Take Cast. He and Pete were on it. I think I'll be on it in 2 weeks. I'll have Pete and or Brick on pretty soon, I think, because I usually have them on when September 1st starts and I have football. I have my crew for football is the thing. Like there's no real place for other people to come in. And even with golf now, especially with someone said they like the Keith show. I love the new Keith show too. I love talking to Keith. I think he's going to be in Phoenix next week. So he'll be live from the course next week, and he'll start doing his rounds of being out there, really seeing what he gets from the course and what he is observing with the players on the range, whatever it might be. It's going to be fantastic insight from Keith, but it's just me on the research show. It's always me and Jeff. It's usually Tambo and I, but now it's been Raza and like trying to mix in some other people till Tambo's back full time. And then it's me and Keith, and then I'm doing this show by myself. So there's not a lot of room to mix people in because, well, football's still going on. It just the week is completely full. Once football ends and I have the Thursday, Friday to play around with a little bit more, then I can have more people I've never talked to before with different topics, or, people's favorites that I love talking to, like, Davis, Pete, Brick, whoever it might be, Emerson, get them back on and just have some chats with them for some like real cash Fridays type podcast, which I really enjoy to record. I know that they're not the most popular shows, but I think that there's a hardcore segment of the audience that really does enjoy those. More of like a time killer for the weekend. Just a lot of people don't put out as much content, especially fresh content over the weekend. That's something that, I can make sure that we do because I think that people do like it. It's the reason that we end up staying one of the highest rated shows in the space for the past 16 years or so. I think we're number 3 we're number 2 in Canada, number 3 in the United States as of right now on the Apple charts. I didn't look at the Spotify charts today, but I think that's because we just do really long shows that can kind of kill innings for you. If you need a new podcast, the Pat Mayo Experience will always be there for you. So if you ever have any good show ideas or topics you would like to hear covered, and I'm not talking about like analytical type stuff because I have no fucking interest in doing like showdown breakdowns. Tambo over at Ship It Nation can do that. I think Noonan's going to be doing stuff like that up at betsperts.com. That's not what I do. That's no one wants to hear me talk about that kind of stuff. Just casual, like granular topics, I think are much better. Something that's a bit more fun, bit more cash, that can kill 90 minutes. And, if you missed 10 minutes of it because you had to go do something in the garage, came back in, you missed 10 minutes, you're like, I'll just keep going from this point forward. That's the way that I would go. Should get Cam for a golf show. I know he does one. Well, he already does one. Like, where do you want? So let me ask you randomness. Where do you fit Cam into my golf schedule that now features 5 shows in 3 days? I'll wait. Yeah, that's the tricky part now, isn't it? That where do you put someone like that in? I don't know. If we do a best bet show for majors, I've had Cam on that in the past. That's something that we can potentially do. But there's only so much content and so much viability for any of this stuff. 5 might even be too much for all I know. But we'll see how this one goes. I've been enjoying the live chats, although it seems like I don't. I probably chased those other losers off earlier, but that's always fun for me. Cut Sweat stream for majors? Yeah, Cut Sweats will always be there. If we had better access to cuts, I would do a Cut Sweat show on Thursday. I'm not put him with Keith. No, that's see, you're not a producer. Putting Cam with Keith kills Keith. That's a terrible idea. It's one of the worst ideas I've ever heard. And we're not putting with Jeff because that kills Jeff. These are all terrible ideas. See, this is why I produce content and you don't, because these are terrible ideas. It's like when you have Cam with Cuss. It's a bad idea because it's if Cam is on a show, it's the Cam show. Pizzola is very good friends with Cam, so he can rein that in. But that's it. Everyone else kind of gets run over by Cam. That you're wasting good talent with Cam sometimes because Cam talks for 98% of the time. But no, having him on with Keith would be just, Keith would never get a word in. Part of the reason to have Keith on is because he has this very specific insight that I'm very interested in. I think that the audience is very interested in. And if he talked for 2 minutes on an hour-long show, I don't think that's a really good use of Keith, honestly. I don't think Keith would enjoy that either, just sitting there and not talking. Cam with Kenny would be great, but Kenny's also not on my show, so I don't know how that works with me. See, now you're seeing the problems as it comes to booking the guests and scheduling the shows. I love Cam too. I love to work Cam in, but Cam, it's a lot like Cuss. Like you got Cuss twice a week for 18 weeks, now once a week for 4 weeks. And then Cuss is going to kind of be like a once a month type guy. You get the hard reset on Cuss. You got Cam for 21 straight weeks. There's a hard reset on Cam. Jeff is the only guy that kind of lingers all year long. But Cam needs to make a appearance with the Fantasy Golf Degenerates. Why? You don't like Kenny or Byron? Like, you have to understand that these shows work in a certain way with a certain chemistry. Injecting a force like that into it just can ruin the entire show. Keith's rapid fire questions are kind of cringe. Okay, don't listen to it. Easy, problem solved. I enjoy them. He's trying to get to know me a little bit more and helping the audience get to know me a little bit more with the way that Keith likes to ask questions. I think it's fun. You don't like it? You know what? It's a time code. You can skip it or just fuck off and don't listen. It's easy stuff to do. I'm sorry it's ruining your day. And if you find that that's cringe, I would hate to see what your real life is like. What do you just walk around, don't leave your house, and we're agoraphobic? Like, if you think that's cringe, buddy, I got words for you and problems you may have. Anyway, that'll do it for me. Good luck this week. Again, all the bets and everything are in the cheat sheet right now. Yeah, see, this guy knows. Not as much as calling something cringe. I mean, the guy might be like 22 years old because that's who would talk like that. I didn't assume that there's a bunch of 22-year-olds in my audience, but that would make more sense if you're saying things like that or you're way too online, which you should probably stop doing, all right? Unless you're watching the Pat Mayo Experience and rating and reviewing on Apple and Spotify to get into the cash giveaway draw, all right? Thank you all for watching. I'm Pat Mayo. See you next time.